Hi folks, I'm the Lost Mapper, and today we're doing day 3 of the 30-day map challenge, and that's going to be polygons. So I live in Alabama, and I'm going to go look for some Alabama GIS data. I've done a Google search here, and one of the places I landed was the Alabama Open Data Portal. I'm going to click through to that, and if I scroll down, the boundaries look like polygons. I'm just going to click on those. And I see that there's a bunch of ways that I can search and filter here. I'm going to try looking for a feature layer that can give me something to download. I've got zip codes, so I'm going to download the zip code file. Or I'm going to take a look at it first, I suppose. And it's going to render that out for me. And I'm going to click download. And I have a few options here. I'm going to go with the shapefile just because I believe it's pretty common and performs well. I've had problems with GeoJSON being kind of slow in QGIS. Any of these you could also just convert to a geo package as well. So I'm going to click download on that. And then if I head over to my downloads, I can see I've got a folder with that shapefile and all of its files associated with it. I'm going to move that into my project. I'm then going to head over to QGIS, where I've already got a polygons project up and going. And if I click refresh on the project home, that folder shows up. And I'm going to double click that shapefile. And I've got Alabama sitting there now. If I click on my layer and press F6, I can open up the attributes table and take a look at a bunch of the data that's in here. There are a ton of fields. I don't necessarily know what all of them mean. I guess I can surmise what some of them mean. I should note that this data is from 2016. If I head back to where we downloaded it, it says it was last updated in 2016. So slightly old data, but I'm not going to worry about it because this is just about learning, not about being completely up to date. Number of housing units and vacant units. So I'm kind of interested in those. So what I'd like to do is actually style this layer based on the number of vacant units, maybe in like, I don't know, 4 or 5 or 10 different buckets. So I'm going to close that table and I'm going to double click on the layer. And I'm in the symbology tab and I want to switch from single symbol to graduated. So categorize is good if there's a number of distinct categories. I think graduated is better for if there are ranges that you're interested in. And I'm going to pick the field vacant. And so there's a couple of different modes for splitting this up. I think I'm going to go with equal interval. And let's see what happens if we hit 5. Now there's this negative 99 in there. I'm assuming that means unknown. I believe if we go to, what is that site for shapefiles? Shapefiles must die. I believe I remember seeing something in here about there being no null value. So there's no way to represent that something does not exist. Yeah. So a lot of times in programming and in data collection, you use 99 or negative 99 or 99999 to represent the fact that you don't have data. So I think that's what those represent. Maybe what we should do is first apply a filter. And I'm going to say where vacant is not equal to, and then let's look at all the values here. It's not equal to negative 99. I test that out. I get 597. If I clear it, let me first copy it, clear it, and test 602. So let's just, for giggles, let's ignore the ones that do not have data in them. Okay. And we can see that a few of them have stopped rendering. So let's head back to our attribute table. No, I want to go back to my symbology. And we're going to change it to graduated. And we're going to do equal interval. And I want 5 classes. And let's pick a different color ramp. Let's try this turbo one. And hit classify. And nothing's happening. Oh, I didn't pick the value. I guess when I closed the window, it forgot what I chose. All right. So we're going by the vacant count with this color ramp, equal interval, hit classify. Cool. So now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, with this many, the ramp doesn't, it's kind of hard to tell. They're all very distinct colors. So let's maybe try 10 and it did it for me. Okay. So now it's a little bit more of a gradual change. We can sort of tell when we're going from red to yellow, from yellow to green, because there's an in-between color. Let's hit OK on that. And that is not very distinct. All right, so maybe that mode does not work well. I have a feeling if somebody knows their math better than me, they're going to tell me why equal interval is not good. Let's go for equal count and see what that looks like. All right, now it seems a little more random. Very colorful. I think maybe we need something that doesn't quite span as many hues. So what if we try this? What was that called? Civitas. Okay, so now we're seeing more of a gradual change from things, from a dark blue to a nice yellow. The other thing I think we should do is right now this is using 4326 as the coordinate reference system, which is kind of good for the whole world, but we're focused on Alabama. So I'm going to search for an Alabama one. There doesn't seem to be one that I've found that is all of Alabama. It's basically east versus west. I think I'm just going to choose this 2011 east one. And we'll just, no, actually maybe the west one, since it includes the shoreline. Hit OK. It's asking me for transformation. I'm just going to go with the default one. Okay. Now it now is a little bit taller. Used a ballpark transform. I'm not going to worry about this for now. Again, I'm kind of just making a pretty map. One thing I would like to do is get rid of that black outline. So if I come back up to the symbol and the stroke color, I'm going to go with transparent stroke. Hit OK. Maybe actually I'll make it white. Let's make it white. Pick that color and make it, try double the width. That one looks a little bit too thick now. Go back in. Let's try back down to 0.25. All right, I like how that looks. All right, so let's make a layout for this now. Portrait, since Alabama is tall. Gonna open this up, have it fill the full thing. I'm gonna go to the page properties, move myself out of the way, set it to portrait and letter, because I'm in the US. And let's put our map into our layout. And I'm actually gonna make sure I have room for the legend. This is a little zoomed out, so I want to go to this map panning tool, and that will allow me to use my mouse wheel to scroll in and pan around a little bit. There we go. All right. And I should probably keep myself out of the way so I can look at all the properties here. And let's add a legend. And So this is right now called AL zip codes, and I think that's based off of the layer name. So if I command tilde back to this and rename my layer, and we can call this vacancies, and then switch back to here, that gets updated. Move that up here, give this thing a title, and call this Alabama vacancies 2016, or let's maybe vacancies by postal code. And change the font to my current favorite mapping font, Futura. And let's just bump up the size until it about fits. And we'll head back up and center that. And then also maybe make sure that the box itself is kind of centered. And I'm just going to move this down here. And the last thing I want to do is add an attribution box. So throw that down at the bottom. I'm just going to attribute it to the, if that's a verb, attribute, Alabama Geographic Information Office. And move that to the right, and actually maybe down at the bottom as well. And that looks a little bit nicer than some of the maps I made the other 2 days. The color's a little more pleasant. I wonder why that box is not, well, I'm just going to call this, is the word legend supposed to be up there? Yeah. And if I get rid of it, it looks like there's still a space there. I wonder if this resize to fit contents is what is screwing me over here. That's probably why I kept resizing. Spacing. Space below the title. If I make this 0, cool. All right, that now it's hugging the top there. And I'm going to export a PDF. Call this Alabama postal or vacancies. Save it. And then I'm also going to save a PNG. Alabama vacancies. Hit save. I'm going to change the DPI to 72, but make the page width 1280. Now let's open that up. And I think that looks pretty nice. I hope yours looks just as nice. See you tomorrow.